If you made $1 million before the age of 21, what would you do next? For Andrew Kirby, the answer was simple. Quit everything, get a 9-to-5 job, and start helping people for free. In this interview, he reveals how he was able to make all this money with just a laptop, the new strategy he's used to help thousands of people make their first dollar online, and the truth about why he quit his 7-figure business to get a 9-to-5. Check it out. So you've worked with some of the biggest names in this industry. You've got Sam Ovens, Alex Hormozi, Mr. Beast. If you were to condense it down into one key lesson, what's your biggest takeaway from interacting with these guys?
I think the first rule of online business is to learn from people ahead of you. That's why I put so much emphasis on getting close to these people. I think getting a mentor or learning from someone ahead of you is like a time portal. You can compress 10 years into 1 year. That's been the biggest lesson. All of these people have had someone in their life that has just transformed them forwards in a really short period of time.
So you saw each of these people get a mentor and you went, okay, I'm just going to get these people as my mentor.
It's like a mentor pyramid scheme.
A mentor inception movie. It's like, boom.
Human centipede of mentors.
We're off to a good start. This is good. So we want to kick off with a tweet, okay? Everyone with a laptop and a Wi-Fi should have an online community that earns 1 million per year. What do you mean by that?
I think that 9-to-5s are going to die. I think we've seen downsizing companies. Elon Musk bought Twitter for $44 billion. The first thing he did was let go of 8,000 or some number like that people, and the company works better than it did before. So we're seeing company size shrinking so much that taken to the extreme, you end up with 7 billion businesses. That's Naval's quote, not mine. He says, one day we will see 7 billion people with 7 billion businesses. So I think if 9-to-5s are dying, there's got to be another alternative. And I think that starting an online community is a great place to start. But that's what I would be optimizing for if I was to start again.
Probably the 3 most valuable letters that if people were really able to wrap their heads around what it truly would mean for them is MRR.
Yep.
Talk to me about that. And do you have any times in your life where you kind of wish you had found the MRR sooner?
100%. So I made $1 million just from one-time purchases. And it means every new month you have to start from zero.
Right.
And that's painful and it sucks. It means you constantly have to be on the treadmill. Whereas MRR is such a nice way to shortcut that. You still have to create value, you still have to do things, but every single month you know how much you're going to be earning. Imagine you had a job and every new month you had no idea how much you were going to make that month. That would suck. You'd like, it's going to be a good month, bad month. How do you plan? That's what a business without MRR is like.
Yeah. The experience of entrepreneurship for most people is feast, famine, feast, famine. Holy crap, how am I going to pay my rent next month?
But maybe what's even better than MRR is ARR.
Oh, talk to me.
Skool's new feature, annual payments.
Just launched 2 days ago, baby.
No, it's really cool because now, like, think about it. You have a job, you have a yearly salary. You don't have a monthly salary. They determine the salary in years. That's what ARR will be like with Skool. So I'm really excited for that.
So you went to university, you studied marketing. In the end, you dropped out.
Yep.
What do you think about the future of online education and that industry? Because I look at the university system. We're both from the UK. And I'm like, this can't be sustainable.
Well, day one of my marketing degree, I realized that the videos that I was consuming online for free were way more valuable than the degree that I was paying $10,000 per year for. And I think the market optimizes for value. It optimizes for efficiency. That's capitalism. This degree that I was learning, it had zero practical utility. Zero. Like, I do online marketing now. And I use zero things from that thing I was spending tens of thousands of dollars for. And the online education space has a worse reputation in many people's eyes as the traditional education system. How can that be the case when I've been through both? One has taught me everything that I've learned that has given me a career, and one that taught me absolutely nothing at all. It makes no sense whatsoever.
I like the community model because it feels like we're going back to almost ancient Rome days where you apprenticed underneath people. Mm-hmm. You followed like a rabbi around or you followed a teacher around. It's like that one-on-one relationship.
Yep.
And I feel like instead of going to university for marketing, it's like, oh, I'm just going to go and become a disciple of insert your marketing person here.
100%. And if you go to a university, what sort of talent can they attract to be the marketing lecturer? It's probably the best person, maybe marketing in the town, in the village, in the city. Maybe. Whereas with the internet, you can learn from the best marketer in the world. Why would you not learn from the best compared to the 100th best or the millionth best? Makes no sense.
We interviewed Patrice a couple of months ago, who just won the Skool Games, literally like an hour ago. Go on, Patrice, 30K in 1 month. And she was saying she did an entrepreneurship module, and she asked her professor, like, what experience you have in entrepreneurship? And he was like, yeah, I like flip Lego sets on Amazon.
Oh, no. I read a textbook. Oh, no. I mean, that's where I started as well, buying and selling stuff. Like that was the start for entrepreneurship.
Yeah, but you're not at the front of a university lecture where collectively the room's paying you like 500 grand.
Oh my goodness. I've just realized there's like group coaching.
Yeah,
a university lecturer is basically doing a group. He's running a cohort.
Yes.
A group coaching cohort.
That's exactly what he's doing.
But yet the university generates $1 million per cohort. And they give what in return? A certificate that no one even cares about. That's another thing. Most jobs now care so much less about the certificate than they used to. And would you actually want to work at a job that required a certificate? Having now seen what that certificate actually means, if a company requires that, that's not a company I want to work at.
How'd you end up working for Skool? Before you give me the story, did you ever show a CV?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
No. I think content is a great CV.
Your proof is your CV.
Yeah.
Your portfolio of things that you've done.
Yeah. Like the pinned comment on my Twitter, if you saw that, like that's the CV.
Yeah.
That's a better CV than anything else.
Is.
Yeah.
Seth Godin, he's got a thing where, and he's kind of old school, but he was saying like whenever you start off, just like collect the projects that you've done, put them in a folder like with poly pockets.
Okay.
And then whenever you're going to meet a new client, just throw the folder at them and they just flick through the pages. And like when I read your tweet, that's what it is. It's like, I helped Hamza make this bunch. I've helped Mr. Beast. I've worked with Sam Ovens. I've done this. I've done that. I've done that. Like that is your CV. It's not your, I did my gold Duke of Ed.
Oh my. I failed my bronze. Duke of Edinburgh.
So how'd you end up working with Skool? I don't think I've ever heard the origin story.
Yeah. So I had my initial thing, grew the YouTube channel, sold my own thing. Then I went traveling and I like retired, did the maths, and I was like, hold on a second. I could never work again if I ever had to. I stay in Thailand, live a good life there. I never have to work again. This is great. I got bored and I got depressed very quickly because it turns out doing nothing isn't as fun as you think it's going to be. So I was like, all right, what do I do? I looked at the problems that I've solved and there was two options. I'd either built my own YouTube channel and use that to sell something, or I had the YouTube channel and then I monetized. So I was like, okay, there's two directions I can go in. Help people with an audience to monetize, or help people that have monetization to build an audience. So I started with the first one. I was like, right, I'm going to help people that have an offer grow out their YouTube channel. The main person to help with this was Rian Doris. He has a flow state business. He helps people get into flow state, 8 figures, does very well, 0 YouTube presence, all comes from ads. He was like, this is a big problem. He brought me on board. I built him a team, defined the YouTube strategy, grew. He blew up 100,000 subscribers in 6 months. Really good success story, but it took a ton of my time. And whilst I was doing that, a friend, Hamza, messaged me and he was like, right, I have an audience. What should I do to monetize? So I was like, okay, here's what you do. You do this, you launch at this price. Here's the offer. Here's what platform you do it on. Skool. Walked through the whole thing, sent him a Loom video. He implemented it, went from 20K a month to 200K a month, and it took me 1 Loom. So I was like, okay, good results with the YouTube growth stuff, ton of time. Great results with the YouTube monetization stuff, tiny amount of time.
1 year versus 1 Loom.
Exactly, yeah. So I said to Sam, I was like, right, Hamza's just launched on Skool. Would it be valuable if I brought more big creators like Hamza onto Skool? And he was like, yes. So I basically set up a growth operating agency that helped YouTubers monetize, and I did it fully for free. We worked with 400 different creators, all with 100,000 plus subscribers, brought many of them onto Skool, and that was my introduction to working on the Skool team.
Why did you want to work at Skool? Because as you say, you're 21 or 23, you're retired, you're in Thailand, you got all this money, you've got the YouTube plaque, you know, you've made the online dream.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why work for a company? Why work with someone like Sam? Why not do your own thing?
So many reasons. One of them is just density of learnings. If you learn from someone that's 5-10 years ahead of you, you can just learn way quicker than if you're on your own. Sam was a massive mentor of mine, helped me in my own business back in the day. So I was like, I want to keep learning from him. That was a big reason. 2, there's a very solid chance Skool becomes an absolute behemoth of a company. And every option that I get in Skool, every piece of equity I get in Skool is going to be worth something. So there's the financial side of things. Like if Skool becomes as big as I think it's going to be, I don't think I could make that much money on my own.
Sure.
Like just the financials make sense with Skool.
Yeah. Well, that's big Naval. It's like you get rich by either owning a piece of a company that you own or owning a piece of a company that someone else owns.
Which is the better way. That's the lazy man's way. Sometimes I miss having my own business.
Of course you do.
But it's very nice knowing that you're in a company that regardless of how well you perform, it's still going to do well.
Sure.
It takes the pressure off.
It's a team sport.
100%.
You miss the goal, your team can still win.
And luckily on our team, we got some beasts.
They're all Messis and Ronaldos.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's great.
Uncomfortable truth. Talking about doing the thing isn't doing the thing. The world would benefit from less words and more action.
What can I say? Anything I say is hypocritical to that statement. You know what I mean? It's just like all that matters is doing the work. There's so many people that talk without doing the work. Just do the work.
How did you make that transition for yourself? So you go from being an English teenager, looking online, dreaming about all these things. How do you bridge the gap between that and action?
Luckily, I just had a mentor. Like I saw a Ty Lopez ad. He was like, do SMMA. So I was like, all right, I'm going to try SMMA.
Okay, Ty,
sure. I went around, completely failed, got 0 clients. Then I saw this guy on YouTube that was making fun of Ty. And I was like, this is my sort of guy. He called him Lai Lopez. And I was like, this guy is interesting. I'm going to subscribe to this guy.
You're like, the SMA failed. He must be telling the truth.
Yep. So he had like 200-300 subscribers. For some reason, I just went all in. I was like, I trust this guy. I listen to this guy. I'm going to do whatever he tells me to do. Which I think is an unlock. Like if you just find someone that you trust and then you just do what they say. Because the main problem with beginners is you overthink. Someone tells you to do something. Or like, there's all these different strategies. What should I do? Even if a mentor tells you to do the wrong thing, it's beneficial to just do what they say because now you're actually doing something.
Yes.
Instead of just doing nothing at all. So I think that the best advice is to pick one person, the person you trust the most, who has the life that you want to have, and just do everything they say blindly. I mean, it's dangerous advice. Be careful who you choose. But if you choose the right person, you can make significant amounts of progress in a very short period of time.
Yeah. Well, I don't know who said this. I'm just going to like misattribute it to Buddha because it feels appropriate. It's like you can either have 6 1-foot holes or you can have 1 6-foot hole.
Exactly.
It's like just put your energy and direction in one place.
100%. So I found this guy, Sunny T. He was giving advice on YouTube, tiny little channel. I paid him like $30. That was all I had at the time. He joined me into this tiny little Facebook group where he would shout at me regularly every day. He would literally scream at me. Like go live on Facebook and just scream at me. This big American dude, just angrily. That's what I needed. Like I was lazy. I was doing nothing. He just screamed at me. And he just said, start uploading on YouTube. And I was like, what do I make videos about? I was like, I'm just an 18-year-old kid. What do I have to say? And then we were like, hold on a second. I'm quite interested in this topic, Stoicism, the philosophy of Stoicism. And luckily with this topic, I don't have to be the one with all the answers. There's this guy, Marcus Aurelius. He was the emperor of Rome. He has some pretty interesting things to say.
A lot of proof.
That's a decent amount of proof.
Emperor of Rome.
Decent amount. He was the world's most powerful man at the time. Like, there's something. So I was like, I'm not going to form an opinion. I'm just going to tell people what he said. And that was how I started the YouTube channel. I call it credibility hacking. If you don't have credibility in the beginning, don't pretend to be an expert when you're not. Just find experts. This could be science. This could be billionaires, and just synthesize what they have to say and create it into your own content. Yeah. There's nothing cringier than someone who's not an expert pretending to be an expert.
Value posts. We love them.
Oh, yeah.
Were you still in high school at that time, or were we already in uni?
I think it was the transition between school and university, the summer. Because I remember I was going to study economics. I started watching marketing videos online. So I changed my degree from economics to marketing, hoping it was going to be more like the videos that I watched online.
How disappointed you were.
Yep.
When was the first time your friends and peer group discovered you were making videos on YouTube?
I left all of my friends at like 2 to 3 points in my life. And it was painful. Like having no friends as an 18-year-old, 19-year-old guy, that's tough. But it felt like the identity that I had crafted to get those friends to like me wasn't an identity that would support me with my goals.
Right.
For example, when I started uploading YouTube videos, the guy they knew me as wouldn't upload YouTube videos. I was this cool and relaxed, and I don't care. I take things easy. I don't try.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
What are you doing talking about all that stoicism, Kirby?
Yeah, literally exactly that. What are these videos? Yeah, literally. So I remember there was one point that I was living with 4 other guys, and I was like, all right, I can't do the things that I want to do if I'm still friends with them. So I had to just not be friends with them, even though we were living together. So I just stayed in my room, didn't talk to them, tried to avoid them. It was brutal,
Sure.
but painful period. But I feel like it needed to be done for me to become the person that I wanted to become.
Mm-hmm. When was the second time?
The first time was actually before that. I changed school between the ages, but like before GCSEs.
Mm-hmm.
How old's that? Like
16.
15, 16, yeah, something like that. Because again, like the identity that I had created wasn't the identity that I needed to become the next version of myself. It sucks. Painful. Yeah.
At what point did you meet the new friends?
I think the easiest way to network is once you've done something interesting enough that people want to know more about you, learn more from you. So, I mean, once you build a YouTube channel to 500,000 subscribers, people want to know you. And luckily, the people that want to know you are also people doing cool things that don't have the limiting beliefs and are building cool businesses and are learning and just applying themselves in life.
Yeah.
So the new friends started to come very, very, very slowly, one at a time. But now I feel like I've got solid friends that I'm inspired by them. I learn from them, which is the best feeling ever.
I feel like it's cliche at this point. I quote Lord of the Rings every episode at this stage. But when you go out on the quest, like very often you start alone.
Mm-hmm.
And then over time, it's like you look to the left and you're like, who the hell is this dwarf looking guy? Then you're like, who the hell is this like elfie archer dude?
Yeah.
But they're all these like badass people in their own right.
Yep.
And you get to learn from them, but you only meet them along the way.
Yeah,
They don't come and meet you in your, university bedroom and are like, hey Kirby, you want to go on an adventure? It's like they're
you have
out
to start
there.
the adventure.
Yeah.
And then they come. That's cool. That's a good point.
It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
Was there any relationships or the next kind of mentor that took you on like another 10x quantum leap, to use some cliche language around that?
Yep. First one was Sunny T. That was the guy that got me started uploading videos.
Mm-hmm.
Next one was Miles Beckler.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one that kept me uploading the videos, started to teach me how to monetize the audience. But that was difficult because I was selling things for like $20. I had like an MP3 player that I would sell for $7.
Hell yeah.
I heard people talking about free book funnels. So I was like, why don't I do a free MP3 funnel? So I'd like load a journaling course onto it and ship it out to people and then have like an upsell that was $17. So I was struggling to make money. And at this point, I was still in a degree that I hated. I was like, I'm not going to drop out until I know that I can do this online thing because I don't know if I can do it.
Yeah.
I doubted myself. I would constantly send messages to this mentor, Sunny T, and be like, I don't know if this is possible. I don't think it's possible to make money. Maybe it's not possible for me. And then I found Sam Ovens. And he taught me how to sell high ticket. And then I went from like $2,000 to $3,000 a month to $30,000 a month in like 3 months. And then I got up to $100,000 a month in less than a year. It was just like the only thing that I needed because I had some traffic. I had the YouTube channel. I just didn't have the correct monetization vehicle. And as soon as I unlocked that, it was a complete game changer.
What was it about Sam that initially brought you in? And then once you were in, what was the key or the set of keys that like unlocked the brain? Was it the blue suit? Was it the sick motorbike in the penthouse?
It's so funny. It's literally the opposite of that. It's like the YouTube videos of him in his bedroom that are just good.
Yeah.
Like these are actually just good. You can't deny that. So I trusted him and I could tell he was intelligent. So I actually torrented his course.
Love it.
That was the first thing that I did.
At the mansion last night, we were saying that that's the original free community, is people Pirate Baying Sam Ovens courses and then buying a 36k mastermind.
Yeah, that's what I did. I literally torrented it thinking I was this cool guy. A year later, he's charged me like 40k.
Oh, did you buy the Quantum
Yeah,
after
I joined Quantum.
Dude, that's so funny.
No, I torrented his thing. I watched it twice. It was like 200 hours long, but I was like, this is so good. I'm just going to binge watch this. Started selling high ticket. The first offer that I sold, I had just come out of a breakup. So I was like, I'm going to help other people that are struggling with a breakup. I'd been in a breakup. I'd struggled. Now I've kind of got over it. Let's help other people. 6 weeks, one-on-one coaching. I started doing that. It worked kind of well. Got a couple sales. Then I was like, hold on a second. The main problem that my audience has is procrastination. And that's when it really took off. I remember in the beginning, because the offer resonated so well, my sales calls were booked back to back. Half an hour each. I made them an hour each to half an hour each so I could fit twice as many in a day. There were so many sales calls that I had to get my girlfriend and my best friend doing sales calls for this offer.
So awesome.
It was just nuts. It was insanity. So we just kept going. We were like, this is working so well. I think that high ticket's the best way to monetize. It's I know people making $800,000 a month, $1 million a month, $2 million a month, which is like, your brain just can't comprehend that number. People listen, they're like, oh, 800K a month. It's like, do you know how much money that is? That is not a normal amount of money, but it's only possible. The only place that I've seen it, unless you have the biggest audience on earth, like massive, massive audience, is to sell high ticket. It was making money. The customers were really happy because we were charging high prices. We could afford to do one-on-one support and actually help these people get the result. And I swear most people would rather pay a lot of money and actually get a result than pay a little amount of money and not really get the help they need. They have a course, there's a community, but they don't really do anything. A lot of people would rather pay the high amount. So it's just working so well that we just kept going. We didn't stop. The whole business was just YouTube videos once a week, to a video that was on a page, to a call where we would have people doing the calls, to a product that was a course, a community, and group coaching. That was it. It was like a 2-3 person team, and that was it. It was so simple. It worked so well. So we just kept going for as long as we possibly could.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got to the point where I was like, do I want to keep doing this? Is there more? Am I the procrastination guy? Because really, the reason I started the YouTube channel, the reason I talked about stoicism and productivity and procrastination wasn't because I loved those things. I love the process of synthesizing and solving my own problems and sharing the solutions. But then I realized that the biggest problem that I solved wasn't procrastination. I'd solved that a few years ago. I didn't have this major procrastination problem anymore. The biggest problem that I had solved was working and studying in something that I hated and then figuring out how to build this business that just worked so well, that allowed me to have freedom and travel the world. I was like, that's the real problem that I've solved. That's the thing that's changed my life the most. More than stoicism, more than productivity, building a great business that changes lives and that changed my life was the real valuable problem that I solved. So I was like, there's got to be some sort of a pivot here, which is when the rest of the story started.
And what's the rest of the story?
Well, that was when I went traveling. I did nothing for 8 months. I was like, maybe I'm never going to upload again. I'm just going to chill. I think this is the new thing to do. But then you just lose that purpose. It's like, what am I doing? Why am I here? I also think that flow state is the peak state of humanity. That's why we love skiing so much. That's why if you're in a great conversation, time passes, your subconscious mind switches off, you don't overthink, you're not self-conscious, you're just in the moment, in the flow. That's the best, most happiest, peaceful moment of life. And the most consistent, the problem is with that is a lot of ways to get there is very negative. If you get really drunk, you enter the flow state.
Sure.
If you do drugs, you enter the flow state. Gambling gets you in the flow state. Gaming gets you in the flow state. But work is one of those things that consistently gets you into the flow state if you're working on something you love. And it has massive benefits to your life and other people's life. So I was like, I got to get back to work. I got to find something to do, which is when the Rian stuff started to happen.
Yeah.
I actually started Synthesizer Skool at that point because I was like, there is this process that I've just done where I procrastinated, I beat procrastination, and then I helped other people beat procrastination. And that was really valuable. It was valuable for me, it was valuable for other people. And no one else was really talking about that process. And then I saw the word, I can't remember what I was reading. I was reading some article somewhere and the word like online synthesizer came up. It was like people are building businesses by being online synthesizers, by solving their own problems and sharing the solutions. And I was like, oh,
that's me.
That's it. That's what I've done.
Yeah.
And that's what so many people are doing. Most of the people in Skool are synthesizers.
It's true.
They solve problems and they share solutions. So I started a free community. I was like, I'm just going to help as many people as humanly possible become synthesizers, which now that I look back, it was the first free group ever on Skool. It was the 11th group ever on Skool. It was the first one that was
serious?
free. First one that was ever free.
Bro.
And now like this free group funnel is like the meta.
Yeah, it is.
But I wasn't doing it to monetize.
Yeah.
I was just like, I wish that there was a group for people like me that's out there. And that's why the group grew so well. It's why people loved it so much. The intentions behind it were pure.
See the last 2 minutes of you talking?
Yep.
Is what business is. I don't know why it took me so long to figure this out. And Evelyn Weiss, who we know and love very well, she has this thing where she says, monetize your personal growth journey.
Yep.
Everybody has experienced a problem.
Yep.
If you overcome that problem,
Yep.
you have value that you can give to the world. And it's just tapping into that.
100%.
And I think Skool is a really awesome vehicle to distribute that value.
100%.
Because you just get all the hobbits in the room and go on the journey.
And when you face a problem and you've experienced the pain, you know how much it sucks. You see how it affects all of your other areas of your life. And finally you make progress on it. The only thing that your heart truly wants you to do is help other people not go through that pain. That's why when you build a business, not just around what you think will make you money, but by helping other people solve the most painful problem in your life, it unlocks purpose and drive like never before because you actually know how painful it is to experience that problem, that the purpose is like pure.
Yeah, one of our family core values is be who you needed.
And
I swear, man, like if I think about that long enough, I just start crying. Because no matter what the pain has been in my life, you're right. We all inherently have that drive to, I want to make sure other people don't experience what this was like. And you can make money doing that.
It's insane. A stupid amount of money.
It's just problem solving.
Yeah, that's it. Because looking back, like you say, to the person when I was 18, 19, trying to get started, I knew that the traditional career path was not for me. I knew that was going to just lead to a dreadful life that I hated. But I just could not make it work. I was trying, I was failing, I was doubting that I could do it. I was lost, I was confused. I had no idea which direction to go in. I'd lost all of my friends. That like feeling of helplessness and pain and suffering was so overwhelming that now I'm like, how on earth did I make it through that? I want to help as many people as I possibly can make that transition too.
And that's why I think you were, I know it sounds ridiculous to say this, but it's like you were made to go on the Skool quest. Because that's what Skool's doing. And that's what you're doing inside Skool. You're literally helping thousands of people around the world, which will soon be millions, do that on scale. It's a high leveraged purpose.
So true. And I think that the biggest problems that people are making on Skool, there's some of them that feel pretty obvious. First of all, people aren't charging high enough. Like if you don't have a massive audience, do the maths. If you're charging $10 a month, $20, $30, $50, even $100 a month, how many people do you need in that community to get you to $10,000 a month so you can go full time? It's way more people. The maths just don't make sense.
Sure.
So it's better in the beginning to massively increase your prices. You may need to get on calls to do it, but it's worth getting on calls to do it.
You massively increase your service delivery to
100%.
justify the price, which gets people better results.
Exactly. Yeah. Like don't try sell a paid community and a course until you're really good and far along the journey. Like there's two bottlenecks. There's demand, how much people want what you have, and supply, how much time you have to deliver. Most people, almost everyone is bottlenecked by demand. Not enough people want what they have. So just be prepared to do things that take more of your time to make your offer more attractive so that it's easier to get more of the demand. Do one-on-one coaching instead of group coaching or paid communities, and do services instead. So much easier to monetize.
Because it's crazy. Like one of the tweets that you have here is the most successful people in the world are not self-improvers. They are problem solvers. Bro, I'm just going to read the next one. Create an offer, then make content. Don't create content, then make an offer.
Yep.
Open up that one a wee bit.
So a lot of people, including myself, start off by wanting to be YouTubers, wanting to be content creators. Mm-hmm. This leads to you creating a ton of content with no idea how you're going to monetize. I call it the hope technique. There's the first bit of value. I hope one day if I create this content that I'll be able to monetize. I hope I'll be able to figure it out. What ends up happening is either number one, you spend a lot of time creating content, but you don't build an audience. Or number two, you spend a lot of time creating content. You do build an audience, but it's way harder to monetize than you actually think.
Right.
Broke influencer syndrome. So what you should do instead, if the goal is to make money quickly, which most people's goal should be because you're competing against people that are full-time, and if you're not full-time, how are you going to compete against people that are full-time to make money quickly so that you can go full-time so you can actually compete? The thing that most people should do is create an offer and then create content to direct the traffic towards the offer instead of just creating content and hoping you'll be able to figure it out one day.
And you choose the offer based on previous problems that you've solved in your life that you think other people would pay for.
Yeah. And if there's not a major problem that you've solved, then
go and get some problems.
Go get some solutions. Help other people solve their problems. To get a job, basically, like be a sales rep, an appointment setter, or copywriter, or something like that.
Well, the learn to earn meta is very powerful.
I mean, that's what we're doing.
It is what we're doing. Literally.
Yep.
You swap the short-term paycheck for the long-term learnings.
Yep.
So you've consumed a bunch of Sam Ovens content. Let's just focus on Sam for a second. What's your biggest lesson from Sam?
I mean, honestly, the one that's most valuable is just sell high ticket. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's so much other things. Like, he's insane with focus. Mm-hmm. Like, he demonstrates focus far more than anybody else. The model that he outlined that I've seen make the most millionaires is just one traffic source. Normally, it's YouTube videos. Like, there's a really powerful traffic source combined with some ads to one funnel with sales calls to one high ticket product that you then upsell people. Once people start getting great results, you launch an back end upsell offer. And that's the whole model. Like, that is the focus, the most simple one offer, two offers, make stupid amounts of money. That level of focus is insane. He also shut down a company that was making whatever, $1 million a month or something like that to go all in on Skool, which was crazy. Mm-hmm. And I've seen him do that multiple times, just cut things out to focus. Mm-hmm. I think it's a massive, massive, massive lesson. As well as discipline. Like, he works 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, every single week without fail. And he's been doing that for like over a decade or multiple decades, I don't know. But since ever I've known him, he's just worked hard consistently. It's not like it's like a marathon.
Right.
He doesn't sprint and stay up late. It's just every single day hard work. There's another massive lesson. He's also insanely good at product. Like, his initial course, Consulting Accelerator, was just so good. So good. And now Skool is just so good. Mm-hmm. Just obsessive detail, obsessive focus on the details. So valuable.
So much value it hurts.
Yep.
Alex Hormozi, you have read his books. You've compiled a lot of his content.
I am so obsessed with learning from people ahead of me that whenever I find someone that I think has lots of knowledge that I don't have, I transcribe all of their interviews, all of their podcasts, all of their YouTube videos. I scrape all of their tweets. I get all of the blogs they've ever created on all different websites. I get all of the books they've ever written, and I put it all into a searchable database so that if I want to learn something from them, say I want to learn offers from Alex, instead of just searching on YouTube and the titles don't correlate to what the video is about, and you watch the video and maybe there's 2 minutes here about offers that's valuable, you search the word offers and you just find every single time he's mentioned that word. You could do leadership, you could do sales, anything you want to learn about from the specific person. And now you just get all of their content, you put it in one massive document. Here's everything they've ever said about this one topic. You can just learn it all, and you pretty much learn everything they know about that one specific topic. So I did this with Naval Ravikant, I did this with Hormozi. There's this guy called Kapil Gupta I did this with Sam Ovens. It's like insanely valuable.
That's why Kirby's the most overpowered Smash character.
I've been playing Smash for the first time with Daniel.
Yeah.
Playing Kirby every time.
Well, talk to me about Kirby the character, because I know it's like a bit of a meme, but there are similarities to you and them.
Them, he, she. Yeah, well, Kirby, the Nintendo character, was the chief synthesizer.
Yeah.
His role is, like, his superpower is he can eat other people and get their superpower, which is really what a synthesizer is. You learn from the people ahead of you, and then you teach the people behind you. That's the process. That's how you solve your own problems and share the solutions. So it's funny that my name's Kirby, but it's like such a perfect analogy and metaphor. Like, I think that the best way to live life, the best way to live and build a career is to be a synthesizer and to be like Kirby. Steal from people ahead of you, learn from them, solve your own problems, and then share the people behind you the solutions.
So, Alex Hormozi, you've synthesized a lot of his content. You now host a weekly Zoom call with him for the Skool Games community. You do a one-day mastermind with him once a month. You work with him closely. What's your one lesson from Alex?
I mean, the first one that comes to mind is how important language is. It's like, how are you going to talk about solving a problem if you can't even determine what words you're saying and what they actually mean? Like, if you have multiple people solving a problem and you're all using these words like advertising or marketing or sales or whatever, defining what they mean is the easiest way to solve the problem, because now you can actually all get on the same page and communicate effectively. I also think he's just like a conqueror. He's just like this beast that is like on this mission, and it's impressive and it's inspiring. So it's like, whoa, this guy is like, he's going at it, and that's pretty impressive. Like, that's almost like it's like an emotional lesson. Like, you see, oh, that's why he's become so successful. And I've no doubt he's going to continue us on his insane trajectory. It's just that like ruthless focus and obsession with achieving a goal. It's like, of course, if someone has that, then they'll get those results.
The way I describe it to friends and previous clients and stuff, because they're like, what's Hormozi like? What's this? I just say, you can't help but want to run faster every time you see him.
100%. Simple as that.
It's crazy.
Yep. Because he's sprinting. And I'm just here walking. I'm like, well, I should at least
like
jog.
My heart rate rises just like thinking about it. I'm like, quickly go faster.
It's like if you're walking down the street and you see someone sprinting, you're like, maybe I should at least jog.
Yeah,
like,
but it's like
least...
the difference between like walking around Belfast or walking around wherever you're from in England.
Yep.
And walking around New York City. Like, I lived in New York City for 3 years. You change the way you walk on a subconscious level. It just happens. And that's also the benefit of mentorship and being around guys like you've described. Is you can't help but just walk faster.
100%. Yep. I mean, people always talk about limiting beliefs and rewiring your mind and things. The easiest way to do it is just to hang around with people that don't have those limiting beliefs. So I think that all beliefs are contagious. Like, you have the beliefs of the people that you hang around with. So if you just improve who you're hanging around with, you improve your beliefs.
Is there a belief or a bundling of beliefs that you feel like you've had to really let go to get to where you are at this point?
Yeah. I mean, the first one is I can do it. Because if you don't believe you can do it, you won't even try. So the first thing is just believing that there's some chance that you can do it. It's also like, change it from I can't do it or I can do it to if I do what's required, the outcome will come. Because then it's not about you. Anyone does what's required, then the outcome will come.
Yeah.
It removes you from the equation. I found that to be really helpful.
Yeah.
Like, you can do anything if you just do what's required to get that thing. And separating like causes from effects is really good. Because like, people have goals. A goal is just an effect in the future that you desire. And because we know that the world operates on cause and effect, every effect has a certain set of causes that, if put into the world, will lead to that effect.
Right.
So all you need to do to achieve any goal, it's not emotional, it's not about you and whether you can do it, whether you're good enough. It's just about identifying the causes and then doing it. And if you do that, you'll get the result.
I think it's a good place to end. Let's see.
Yep.
It's always dangerous to try to stick the landing.
Yeah.
But we'll give it a go.
Yep.
So it's 3 years from now. Okay. Skool has just been valued or acquired or whatever for many billions. How do you want that Kirby to be different from the Kirby today? And what are the things that you're going to spend the next 3 years doing to get there?
I honestly have little desire to be different to who I am. And maybe that's because I'm happy with the trajectory that I'm on. So I'm just like, keep going is the main thing. It's weird. I almost view all skills as one skill. It's just the ability to figure out what's needed to get what you want and then get what you want. Like, I don't think about skill acquisition ever. I just think about what do I need to do to get what I want.
Right.
And by doing that, you gain the skills as a byproduct. I feel like that's a bad answer.
No. So one of my favorite quotes is, once you see the way broadly, you see the way in all things. And I feel like the further down the entrepreneurial journey you go, you realize that it's really just, what's the problem? Let's get a solution. What's the problem? Let's get a solution. What's the problem? Let's get a solution.
I still think that despite how much content and noise there is, there's still no clear path for people to follow to be able to go full-time doing what they love through solving problems and sharing solutions. There's a lot of information, but everyone's still confused.
Right.
So the thing that I find most meaningful is to try take that information and then simplify it into a path so that people can follow. So I just want to have that path more clearly defined than anyone else on this earth. So people can look at the path, follow the steps, and then get the results.
The quest is to discover the path that will get the most people results.
Yep. And I feel frustration because I feel like I know the path. I've done the path. I've seen many other people do the path, but still people don't know the path. I'm like, how is there so much content, but yet people are still spending so much time and energy focused on things that will yield them so much worse results than if they just focused on these 1, 2, or 3 other things. It's like frustrating.
How would you convince or encourage the person listening to this who's on the fence about starting their business? They've consumed all the content, they follow all the big names. How would you convince them to actually take action? And why is it important to do?
I have so many problems with self-improvement. I think for many people, it is almost complete procrastination. When I look at all of the thousands of hours that I spent improving myself, doing the habits, the meditation, the morning routines, the journaling, the introspection to try to improve myself, the real world tangible benefits that came from that are very minimal. I think really self-improvement is asking yourself, what is the area of my life that if I change will make the most difference to my life? And for many people, if they ask that question, they're in a job that they hate, which is draining their soul, which means when they get home from work, they're drained with no energy, so they're not good to their friends and their family, and they don't take their health seriously. I think that the easiest or the way that will lead to you having your life improve the most is just finding a job that you don't hate. And I think that the best way to do that is to start a business. So if you really want to improve yourself, what's the biggest problem in your life? For many people, it's a job that you hate. And the best solution to find a job that you love is to start a business around solving your own problems and sharing the solutions, because that brings you purpose and meaning. So that's why I think people should start a business.
There's the landing.
Nice. Let's go.
Just like out of curiosity, like if someone wanted to start a business, like do you have any recommendations of like where they could do that? Do you want to hang out with Alex Hormozi and Andrew Kirby every single week and learn how to start your business?
Yep.
Link below. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it.
Let's go.
That was awesome.
Fun.